Do you ever feel like you don't matter? That other people have life's lead role, and that you have to make do with a walk-on part. Such is the life of horrid Henry. Look at this, photographic proof that he's second choice within his own family. They say a picture says 1,000 words, but for me, this photo says just one. Neglect. Given that there are 250 episodes of Horrid Henry, including 5 seasons and various specials, it's rather surprising that Henry's early years are something of a mystery. We have only a few photos of Henry and Peter as babies, and we have even fewer flashback clips. Using these breadcrumbs, let's join together the jigsaw pieces that comprise Henry's past, back before he became the lovable rogue that we watched every week on our television screens. Here's the thing, Henry wasn't always horrid. The opposite, in fact. Henry was the chosen one.
You were the chosen one!
As a tiny baby, Henry was happy and loved. He was totally content with the doting affection showered on him by his parents, fuming Francesca and silly Simon.
Oh, look at that, Henry.
However, very early on in Henry's life, something changed. Something big, something drastic, and something irreversible. Even by the time he was a toddler, Henry had lost control of his ability to make good choices. Consequently, his decision-making as a youngster had a profoundly negative impact on those around him. In one of these clips I discovered that show Henry as a baby, we can see him absolutely terrorizing a baby-faced perfect Peter. Peter cowers under the table in pure fear due to his older brother's dangerous behavior. Moody Margaret, who is only a toddler herself in this flashback clip, is another victim of Henry's wrath. It should go without saying that tying someone up to a tree and then stuffing their mouth with an apple is the behaviour of a damaged child. One that, honestly, requires either a strict course of medication or therapy. Perhaps both. It's one of those WTF moments that seemed totally normal at the time. But then actually, you look back on it and it's dark and it's sick and it's just plain twisted. Like, what am I looking at here? Seriously, this is abnormal behaviour from Henry, and some may argue that it puts new light on the strict parenting style that we see from fuming Francesca and silly Simon in future episodes. I would argue against this, personally, as starving your child is never acceptable, no matter how challenging you as a parent might find their behaviour.
Go to your room.
Can I have my questionnaire back?
No, go to your room now, Henry.
What about tea?
You can have tea in the morning. Now go.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Just by the way, as crazy as this sounds, I've actually seen some comments defending Henry's mum. Yes, it's happened again! Like this user who says, "It's just tea. She didn't say he couldn't have dinner." This just isn't true. She's literally denying Henry his evening meal. As this user correctly points out, tea is another word for dinner in parts of the UK. As a Brit, I can confirm this. Do Henry's family really look like the type of family who would have afternoon tea? No, for them, tea means dinner. Fuming Francesca sent her son to bed without any dinner. It's pretty clear cut. This fits in with the general theme of Francesca victimizing her eldest son. Like the time when she confiscated all of Henry's belongings because he, checks notes, spilled some paint.
That's all my stuff!
Henry, we've taken all your things away because we want you to think about why you're being punished.
Tempting as it is to dive down the toxic parents rabbit hole, we need to stay on track. I mean, if you are interested in future videos about Henry's parents, then please smash subscribe. Because believe me, there's still so much to say about this unfortunate pairing. You've got the sociopathic head case that is fuming Francesca and the stoner, burned out loser that is silly Simon. Why is he so tired all the time, man?
So number 9 decided that he was going to teach number 6.
Back to Henry's early years. Let's dig deeper. What led Henry to behave this badly? What changed? How did he go from a baby, optimistic and carefree with his whole life ahead of him, to becoming a child that's just, honestly, completely depressing? Henry in the TV show is a negative cynic.
And generally realising that life doesn't always get better as you get bigger.
Indeed, Henry grows more and more resentful and miserable with each passing year. The question is, why? To answer this, let's apply Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is usually the correct one. When we put it in these black and white terms, it sure as hell looks like Henry got replaced. Replaced by a younger, newer, some would say more perfect, model. In the words of this user, since birth, Henry cried. While his sibling was quiet and angelic, Peter was a gift. Peter is treated far better than Henry throughout the show's 5-season run. It's disgusting how differently fuming Francesca treats her two sons. Even Francesca's tone towards Peter is totally different to how she talks to Henry. With Peter, it's loving, caring, fawning even.
I'm doing some extra number gnomes colour work.
Oh, well done, Peter.
How she behaves here is how a mother should act. Caring about their child, supporting their endeavours, giving positive praise where appropriate. Francesca has the potential to be like this. It's so frustrating that she chooses anger and she chooses hate. Why, Francesca? Why? Indeed, when she speaks to Henry, her tone will shift so entirely it's like another person has taken over her body. Fawning Francesca vanishes, to be replaced by our old friend, fuming Francesca.
Henry!
Don't be horrid, Henry.
Yes, don't be horrid, Henry.
Look at silly Simon sticking the boot in too. What an absolute stoner piece of... Even though Henry was a very young child, he must have realised the grim reality of this appalling favouritism pretty fast. In the following flashback clips, we see Henry trying to get rid of Peter in a variety of creative ways. First, he tries mailing him to another country.
I tried everything!
After this method failed, Henry makes another attempt, trying to remove his brother from the family by flying him away on a kite.
But every time I came up with a great plan, I got into trouble.
Whether these are real or, as is more likely, imagined scenarios is actually besides the point. Henry realised he was second choice and took the only action that was possible in order to return the family dynamic to the status quo. The status quo, by the way, within which he was valued and which he was loved. Yes, for Henry, the removal of Perfect Peter was an emotional necessity. Let us now explore further evidence, which signals the change within Henry, from happy Henry to horrid Henry. Let's take a look at Exhibit A.
You familiar with this peanut?
Look at the neglect on display here. Drink it in. And do you know what? The context makes it even worse. It literally just can't be overstated just how screwed up it is that Francesca would choose this particular photo to put in a photo album and preserve it forever. A photo album is not actually an accurate reflection of a family's history, nor is it supposed to be. Indeed, the uncomfortable, awkward parts of a family are supposed to be airbrushed from memory. In a normal family photo album, it's the smiling, aren't we all so happy together photos that usually remain. Having this understanding makes it even worse that this particular photo was chosen for immortalization. The photo, as we can clearly see, shows a broken family, with one member, a child no less, clearly set apart from the rest of the other members. And yet this particular horrifying image was chosen, cherry-picked even, by the curator. Oh my god! Do you see how bad this is? Horrid Henry's mum chose this photo because in her head it's an idealised version of her family. Peter front and centre, Henry relegated to the corner, a footnote in family history. Holy cow, this woman has some serious psychological issues. Now you wait there a damn minute. I've put sunglasses on, I'm doing a bit, just go with it. You're the one cherry-picking the evidence, Snipe Snap. You have an agenda against Horrid Henry's parents, you're not a fair adjudicator, and lastly, you don't look at the evidence from both sides. One piece of evidence a case does not make. Wouldn't it be mental then? Wouldn't it be just properly mad, proper head case stuff, if there was even more evidence of fuming Francesca using photos to prove that she loves Peter more than she loves Henry? The photo on the fridge. Undeniable proof that Henry's parents glorify the ostracization of their eldest son. I deserve credit because I've even found new angles of this photo. I found new facial expressions too. Take a look at this one. We can see, for example, that Mum looks happy. Peter too beams with all the joy of a carefree childhood. Henry, conversely, wears a frown so droopy it would make Snoopy blush. I wonder who drew this? There's only two contenders, unless Fran and Cy are so depraved that they knock this damn thing together themselves. Surely that would be beyond even them. Realistically, the drawing was done by either Peter or Henry. When you think this through logically, both of these possibilities are immensely depressing. If Henry drew it, then it shows how he recognises that he is in a 3+1 family dynamic. Personally, however, I think Peter drew it. And it's this. The outstretched hand that does it for me. Peter is annoying, but he's a smart kid. The symbolism of the arm reaching out for his estranged older brother, who's been pushed so far away by his parents that he feels unable to return the gesture. Yep, Peter knew what he was doing, and it's so sad that a child can recognise the tragedy of his family dynamic, but his own mother and father can't. Who do you think drew this picture? Henry or Peter? Let me know in the comments. I'm interested if anyone has thought of something or noticed something I haven't. It does happen, occasionally. Gets worse, by the way, believe me, there's more of this stuff and it gets so much worse. As an example, there's another photo in the kitchen which reflects the exact same family dynamic of that which we saw on the fridge. Look at it, drink it in. What do you see? I'll tell you. Mum, smiling. Peter, grinning. Henry, scowling. What is wrong with her? Why is she putting these photos on the wall? Is it that hard to do a nice family photo of everyone smiling? If only to give the impression, at least, that the family is normal. Think of the guests, Francesca. Think of the guests. Take a look at this, too. We have 3 love hearts that sit above this now infamous drawing of a happy, cozy looking home. Why are there 3 love hearts and not 4? There are 4 people, but there's only 3 love hearts. Did they leave Henry out again? What the The kitchen. Meh. You're exaggerating again, Snipe Snap. Yep, I'm doing the bit again. Don't hate. Who cares about the damn kitchen? The living room is where it's at, bro. And I know for certain that old Fran and old Simon, they would never put unflattering photos of Henry up in the living room. Oh no, they've got way too much class for that, boy.
Yep, this one's going in my cringe collection.
Oh, really? Exhibit A, Henry pulling a silly face. Exhibit B, Henry pulling a devious face. Exhibit C, Peter playing the cello. I just can't with these people, I swear. Having a photo of Peter playing the cello is a super interesting choice, by the way. Because remember, Henry is a violin virtuoso. Not that his parents ever gave a damn. Why is Peter praised for doing the same thing for which Henry is ignored? The answer is simple. What Henry does just isn't seen as noteworthy. Remember, Henry is considered so unimportant that his parents don't even notice when they leave him at home.
What's the matter?
It's Henry. He's disappeared.
What?
I think we might have left Henry behind.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
They still blame him for the traffic jam, though.
Ugh, I can't believe we're in this traffic jam now. This is all your fault, Henry. Did you hear me, Henry?
Bloody stoner Simon. Even Henry knows something is wrong, but as a young child, he can find it a challenge to know the right words to express himself.
My life is so bad. It's bad.
How can that make no sense but so much sense at the same time? You can see the change in Henry's character reflected in his choice of outfits seen in the photo album. He goes from being a joyful and appreciative baby to a resentful and angry child. Whilst as an infant he wears nice, age-appropriate costumes, he begins to present himself as a villain as he grows older. He dresses as a vampire in addition to putting on a pirate outfit. I know this might seem like nothing, but remember, everything you see is a choice from the writers. The writers always know exactly what they're doing. They're well-educated people, they're smart people. Nothing they do is ever by accident. For whatever reason, someone at Horrid Henry HQ wanted to portray Henry as a lonely, neglected outcast. And once you see the show through this prism, it's impossible to unsee. I guess we can see through the Horrid Henry matrix now, Snipe Snappers. Despite this, it's not all doom and gloom. There are some unbelievably positive, uplifting episodes of Horrid Henry, like Horrid Henry in the Go-Kart. There's some proper father-son bonding going on, and it's super cool to see.
Mum says dinner's ready.
Tell her we're not coming in till it's finished.
Ooh.
Henry's friendship with Ralph is uplifting too. By the end of the series, the two boys are practically brothers in arms.
Really? You do that for me, Henry?
What are friends for, Ralph?
Good! Thanks, Henry.
Trust me, Ralph.
Henry even has his positive moments with moody Margaret. At least Henry's friends do genuinely seem to like him. It does give him that positive outlet outside of the family unit, which, by God, he needs.
Oh. What? Just wanted to say, thanks and all that.
Ooh, maybe there's hope for him yet.
There's this whacked out comment that this user keeps leaving on my Horrid Henry videos. It's kinda mental, but it's strangely poetic and also based. It's been haunting my dreams. Now it can haunt yours, too. If horrid is forever, then perfect must be a lie. If adults and parents' favourite offspring in this toxic town can say or do whatever and remain the apple of their eye, the truth is in shades of grey. When they don't do as you say, when you make the unwanted children suffer over and over just to punish them for simply drawing breath again and again. That first line, wow. If horrid is forever, then perfect must be a lie. It's the most perfect summary of the show I've ever read. Horrid is forever. Henry's been tagged as horrid, and no matter what he does, he gets blamed. Even if he changed, it wouldn't be enough. We've seen this in the show before, when Henry gets blamed for Peter's horridness.
It was Peter's fault! He sprayed me!
Don't tell lies, Henry.
It's true. I sprayed him.
Well, Henry, you should have got out of the way when Peter was watering the flowers.
And that next line, then perfect must be a lie. You just can't be perfect all the time. I've wasted enough of my life trying to, Peter, so I get you, mate. I understand how much you want it, but trust me, it just ain't possible. As this user puts it, Peter is abused in a different kind of way. His parents hold him on a pedestal, so to speak. He's the golden child of the family, and as such, always feels a responsibility to be perfect and please everyone. This will have a negative impact on his future. Hell, there's signs of the damage already. Whenever he's done something wrong, he breaks down thinking his mother will leave. And he's only a child. Imagine what impact it'll have on him when he's an adult. This next user actually imagines what would happen to Henry and Peter when they grow up. And man, brace yourself, it gets super dark. I see perfect Peter taking in his parents, especially his mum as an adult. They're pretty much going to be a thorn in both of their sons' sides. If Henry has kids, he's probably going to feel pressured into getting his kids to meet his parents. His parents will just likely turn Henry's kid against him because, yeah, that's the type of toxic grandparents they'll be. Perfect Peter will just leave the room while Henry and his parents go at it like Gumball's mum, Nicole, from The Amazing World of Gumball did with her own parents. And Peter will just be there to tell Henry to leave, while comforting the brother's bratty, insufferable parents. This show is a psychological hellscape. I honestly never meant to go this deep with the show when I made that first video 6 months ago, but the more you watch this show, the more horrifying it gets. Remember those innocent days from when we were younger? When we'd come home from school, put the TV on, a little bit of Horrid Henry on CITV, and just chill, and you think, yeah, of course Henry's the horrid one. The show's called Horrid Henry, for goodness sake. Of course he's bad, of course his parents are good. Well, those days, they're over. We've seen the truth. There's no way back. We're in too deep now, Snipe Snappers. In the words of Macbeth, I am in blood, stepped in so far that, should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go